Jennifer, this episode was so much fun. Thank you so much. But what did we discuss in this episode? Let's recap it.
Yeah, so we're talking about so many things, relationships and money, how to handle your relationship. Basically, how to know if a man likes you by how he rolls with you financially.
How he spends on you.
Yeah, how he spends on you. You know, basically how to become valuable, you know, how to put yourself in places where you can elevate yourself and your lifestyle. And basically my journey and how I started investing. You can learn one or two things from that, and just to know that you don't need to have a lot of money to start your investment journey.
Yeah, and to also enjoy a good life as well.
Oh, very important.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoy listening to the episode. Before we get into the show, I would like to share something that I recently realized. 67% of the people who watch this channel are yet to subscribe. And I understand that you might not even know it, but I would like to kindly ask you if you can right now click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. It really does help the channel grow and signal to YouTube to show it to more people. So please hit the subscribe button right now and let's cruise into today's episode. Welcome to another episode of Sabi Cruise Podcast. I have an amazing guest today, the one with over 300,000 portfolio. Let me say with my Igbo girl accent. Did I get it? 300,000. Hey, madam, please. That's why I brought you here, because on this show, we're all about living our best, feeling our best, and enjoying a good life. And that is what I also love about you. Despite the fact that you are all about your financial literacy, you're making the most of your finances, always talking about investing. You're also about living a good life, and that is my motto all day, every day too, because child, I'm not leaving any money for next of kin. I mean, next of kin we enjoy, but me, let me enjoy on this earth. So I want to do a proper introduction of you, but then I want you to also introduce yourself. I have the Sabi money queen, money girl, all the way from the United Kingdom, London, Manchester, Portsmouth, everywhere. All the whole of the UK. Right? How have you been enjoying to? Before we get into that, please do a proper introduction.
Hi everybody, my name is Jennifer, or the Sabi Money Girl, or I'm most recently your money bestie, basically.
Period.
Yes. So I'm a financial educator, serial investor. I'm addicted to investing.
Period. We love that.
And yeah, so basically the goal is just to simplify and amplify financial literacy.
We love.
Just like Wiz is doing, to the best of our ability.
Our ability. I love that.
And show people what is obtainable when you actually decide to invest your money. Yeah,
you can especially as a young person. Because I feel like back in the day, at least when I was growing up, it seemed like the people that you hear that they talk about their money, that have a lot of money, there is people that they had like top privileges and like rich people. They're even older people in their 40s, their 50s. It's like almost impossible for you to see younger people in their 20s make money or building their investment. So I love that we are doing this thing and we are showing the world as well, because it's totally possible.
It's funny because if you think about it, most of our parents would have actually had a much better life, or like literally have been wealthy if they had actually invested differently or done things, you know, much differently. So yes, I agree with you 100%.
And she's all the way from the United Kingdom. So how have you been liking Canada so far in comparison to your life in the UK?
I could see myself living here. Let's just say that. I mean, Canada, you know, I was coming here, I was looking at like, this looks just like Nigeria. Like, you know how you guys have the malls, like you have the parking space, like you can drive in. We don't have such things in Canada, in the United Kingdom.
You know, the whole of United Kingdom is probably smaller than the whole of Ontario.
Well, true.
So Canada is a very, very big country. But regardless, everywhere still feel choke downtown, but it's still much spacious compared to like other places.
London. I feel you. Yeah.
So if you want to move here, would you want to stay in like Ontario, Toronto, or like a smaller city?
I'm not a small city girl.
Period. Me too. City girl.
I'm not a small city girl.
I feel like maybe if I have kids, I might want to move to somewhere like much more calm, just because I want them to like grow up in a certain kind of way. But however, like now that I'm still young, I don't have any response. Like, please, put me in this city, put me downtown, put me where it's happening.
I think for me, because I'm of the opinion that your environment matters and influences you and shapes you. So I love to be in the city because I want to see what other people are doing. Like, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that people are making money and I'm coming behind. Like, why? That was why I wanted to move to London before I decided to move to Manchester. I was like, I want to go out and see somebody driving a Rolls Royce, and I'm thinking, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Like, how can I? You get my point. So even when I did I moved to Media City, like the hub. I'm like, if I wake up in the morning, I see my neighbors driving like their cars, and most of them probably where I stay, they all bought the apartment.
Nice.
And you're seeing like these people going to BBC for interviews, because I know what we do, financial education, and I'm like, how are you entering inside that
I want to
building?
see
like
the,
I want
the secret.
to like
Give me
do you
the
get my
secret.
point? Like, I'll just walk around and hover around there and sit down to like the way they dress, the way they walk, the way they talk,
their looks, their appearance, what they carry, and how they present themselves.
So when you want to build wealth, there's this thing called the power of belief, where you work with your five senses. That works a lot. Like the things you experience, the things you see, the things you feel, the things you hear, the things you read about, literally shapes who you are and who you're going to become in the future. Yes.
And that's also part of what people say when they say start to act like the version of you want to be.
True.
That is literally what it means. Like in summary, like start to act like, start to think about it, start to see, start to consume it. If you want to actually live soft life, you have to start seeing things that gives you that soft life feeling. You have to start putting yourself in an environment that gives you that feeling.
True.
And that is how you end up.
Funny thing, I told someone yesterday, I coached her, and she was like, oh, and she's wanting to travel, but she feels like she has scarcity, that she doesn't have money. And I'm like, you don't have to travel expensive.
Exactly.
Even if it is like, go and look for deals of $100. One thing about the universe, I tell people, like, especially if you're intentional, once you start, you cannot go down. Exactly.
It gets better from there.
Thank you. It attracts like a magnet, right? See, even if it's $100 trip, like book it. Your next trip will probably be 200, and before you know, you're taking $1,000, $10,000, £10,000 trip. Like you just have to start from somewhere.
And when you even start, if you will not just open your eye to see, like
exactly, and it motivates you.
And that is why you now start to take even more bigger.
True. Can I get my
one? You will see that ginger, that motivation will come there. And like,
I tell people,
okay, now I want to do this more. So how do I get to afford this? Same thing when I took my first business class flight.
I'm gonna use that example. So the first time I flew business class, I told my friend like,
I cannot fly economy.
Like there is nothing. I'm like, I kid you, like that. As I told my friend, I'll be like, oh, I'm flying economy. I'm like, I told my friend, next okay, now we go use your money. If I'll eat your money, I'm flying business class. Because the thing about, I thought travel is an investment for me. I have met people that I ordinarily would not meet if I was in my house. Like I have a very weird travel story. My first trip, that was Sierra Leone, because I used to work for ECOWAS back home. I had like a contract with them where I used to go for election observation, that like a side hustle, and make good dollars in 7 days. And I'm coming back like I'll make like $3,000 just for 7 days. So one of such trips, I think I was coming back and I was going to Sierra Leone to go and see my then friend. I think she lost her mom. And then, to be honest, I think I had only flown business class once or twice, but it's not really a habit yet. But I was staying in like VIP lounges because I cannot stay where I've been suffering. And I went and paid for the VIP lounge. I went to the VIP lounge and I was there, and this guy works in, so he's half Liberian, half German, and he walks in and he came to like the port. I was like, oh, can he smoke here? I'm like, I'm allergic to smoke. I'm sorry, I can't smoke. And he went out and he came back with like this huge packet of sweets and biscuits.
And you're like,
and I could tell how restless he was because he kept on offering like, do you want? Because he couldn't not like keep his mouth. Plus, he was gonna be flying a long flight. I'm like, you know what?
Give me.
Like, no, like give me. Like, have the pot to yourself. I'm going. Let me go and buy. So I was just looking around the airport, and I went to the MAC store. I'm like, okay, let me just buy like makeup. My makeup's about to finish. And the next thing I knew, I checked my watch, like, oh my goodness, like it was, I think 5 minutes to like take off. Not boarding, like take off. So I just started rushing to the gate. And when I got there, I just heard, are you Jennifer? Are you Jennifer? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, don't worry. So they're like, we're waiting for you. I'm like, waiting for me, Ke.
Hey, who I be?
Apparently, that guy is like, he flies. So his friend is the owner of the aircraft. It was Medview Airline then. So he was a big shot, right? So he had told them that there's this lady that was sitting with, that she's not, I've not seen her enter this place. You know, he was sitting in business class, so you have to pass. He said he has not seen me, that they have to. As I entered, and that was how I was upgraded to business class.
Wow!
And there and then on that flight, he gave me my first contract to Liberia.
Wow.
Right. And I think that my brain did a complete one. Like, I'm like, hold on, what just happened? Like, not only that, we chatted throughout the flight, because he landed in Liberia before us, because I was going to Sierra Leone, so his stop was Liberia. He gave me, I think he had like $500. I was like, oh, take, like, just do whatever you want to do. And since then, I kid you not, like, since then, and it's funny because even when I went to Liberia for the contract and all, and I met some big guy, because like I said, he has money, like some big guys in the country, the regional MTN manager there, and one other guy that was working for Shell that they sent to Liberia. And they were talking, one of the things the guy said, the Shell guy, because he was doing a party, he said how he became rich was because when he started working in Lekki, when all his friends were scrimping and saving money and they were coming from Uju Eleba, Iyanipaja, he carried all his savings and got an apartment in Lekki. Yeah. So what that meant was he was shopping in shops that his bosses were shopping in. So you're going to buy milk, you see your boss, I can't also, like, you know.
And they'll go right
exactly.
Conversation.
So in the office, when they are looking for their go-to guy, he became, thank you. And that was how he climbed the ladder. And when they're looking for who to going to send to Liberia, he was the one that they chose.
I love that.
And after he told that, the guy was like, ask her where we met. And he was like, oh, we said that, like, because we met in the business club. And he was like, simple. And that was my first understanding of the word
Power,
paying for proximity.
Proximity, yeah. Quick break from the convo, because if you have been dreaming about traveling, making new connection, or living your best life without blowing the bank, then I would love to invite you for an experience with Sabi Enjoy. Sabi Enjoy is my travel brand that focuses on creating travel experiences for your enjoyment. We create unforgettable group trips, private escape, custom itinerary, and our very own Sabi experiences. So if you are tired of waiting to travel with your friends, or you don't want to deal with the stress of planning trips, don't worry, Sabi Enjoy has got you covered. We are all about helping you travel more, stress less, and feel deeply connected along the way. The best part is we also offer payment plans for your convenience. How cool is that? Head over to sabienjoy.com to join any of our experiences. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah, paying for proximity, to be in rooms where opportunities are.
Paying like for even proximity.
Even proximity it's not just even in location, in spaces, it's in the kind of people as well, the experiences too. Because there's some people that you naturally wouldn't just run into.
No, you wouldn't. For where now?
Where?
With my
events, not even just travel.
My previous boss in Nigeria is like all these big rich men. I used to look at him and his friends. After me and my friends would be like, where does your boss? Where, like they hang out in their houses, they have clubs, they have pools, so you would not see them. You cannot see them. We were seeing him because he employed us. Ordinarily, you will not see him on the streets.
Yeah. And that's also another thing. Apart from even for travels, right? There are other ways for you to even still meet people. Apart from that, you just need to understand that you need to still pay for that proximity. There's this public speaking that I did very recently, a couple of weeks back, and I think they sold the ticket around $100 or something. I don't remember exactly. And some people were struggling to purchase it. But then one thing that me and the host had conversation about, and all the rest of the speaker, were like, people don't understand the importance of being in rooms where you can get opportunities. Like the old people that you are seeing here, these are people that are influential. These are people that are making big moves in their industry. You can literally get a job from conversation with people here. And you are that same $100, you're going to go blow it in concert. So why not just spend that same money
spend it on
food, something that you're not even going to remember. So why not spend that money towards opportunities of putting yourself in that place where there'll be proximity for you to be able to get connections. When he said that, and I was just like, wow, this is like, sometimes I used to just think about it like in the grand scheme, like travel, like in a bigger setting. But like even smaller things as well that you can even do.
Pay for mentorship, like paying for men. That's like, I feel like people, like most people like free things. Especially our people, they like free things. And I saw them, like, I've seen my dad and his friends, and I said because the time my dad's friends pissed me off. Like, they live in America, and they stay in our house, and he pissed me off. And I was so mad, and I remember saying to him, like, my father is your friend, I'm not your friend. And I was younger then, and after I said that thing, you know, he became mature. Like, he called me eventually, spoke to me, and later my dad called me and he was like, how dare you? Like, after he called me, he beats me. He now said, like, I said, okay, sometimes when I provide for you, like, non-stop, do you think I always have the money? Who do you think I would run to if, for example, you needed 1 million and I cannot afford it? It's my friend, right? So you see that relationship, it involves give and take. Yeah. So there is no way, and at that point, especially for things like finance, where if I'm teaching you based on my lived experiences, plus knowledge from other people.
Other people's experience. Other people's
I've also paid for as well.
Yeah, so you are getting ahead of the game.
Yeah, so you're not going to make any mistakes. So the audacity to think that I will do that for you free. I mean, unless I want to do it, right? You know, so paying for mentorship, I was telling you, like, even me as a day here, I still pay.
Yes.
In Nigeria, I have an account where, like, for me to maintain that account and receive the kind of financial tips, I have to maintain a minimum amount. Balance, if it drops by 0.0, I automatically lose that benefit.
Yeah. Same. Right now, I'm paying for one AI school. To be honest, I don't really care about a lot of AI tools.
Yeah.
But then I'm still in that AI school and I'm paying monthly because I know that like every once in a while, whenever I go into their sessions, I leave with new motivation.
New motivation. True.
New motivation. I see founders. They did one meetup in Toronto recently because it's like typically global in US and all of that. So they did one session.
Plug me in. Let me do my AI business.
They did a session in Toronto recently, and I went there. I met with all these founders, these CEO, people in top places. I mean, I was like, oh boy, I need to start attending the session. When you attend those sessions, I start to hear like the conversation. These people are talking billions.
Yeah,
millions.
You see what's obtainable for you.
You see what is possible. You see what is out there. I know, of course, mentorship and again, for me, when it's all about the whole paying for mentorship thing, I don't even like to see it from the perspective of just you giving somebody money. I also like to see it as a way for you to stay accountable. Trust me, when you pay for something, you value it and you want to make your money 10 times back. True. And because of that, it helps you stay committed to making that money work, like bringing that money back for yourself. True. So that is something that most people don't understand. If you get something for free, trust me, and the percentage of people that utilize free resources, less than 30. Less than 30% of the people. But once you pay for it, trust me, the results that you see from it is higher. The chances of the results you see is higher than when you get access to it for free.
Yeah, true. I agree.
I love that we've spoken about money, meeting people at the airport and all of these things. One thing that I need you to bring up, I want to hear from your own perspective now that you are a girl. First of all, let's talk about how you were able to build your 300K portfolio. Tell us, T.
So for me, I started investing when I was very young. My mom had knowledge of investing. Her best friend, the mom was a nurse, her friend was a nurse. So I remember then I was telling her, let me even say this now because I'm angry, let me not vent out. If my mama had gone to America, I would not be suffering as this immigrant. But apparently, whenever she wanted to go, my dad will fall sick. Miraculous, mysterious sickness because he didn't want her to go.
America, no, they favor everybody. So maybe her destiny was just meant to be.
She was a nurse. There was no way to not favor her. Her siblings were there. Like her brother wanted her to go, and her best friend was there. So I remember vividly that. So she knew about investing. She was only, but on a much lower. Like I said, if our parents had that idea, they'd have done it better. Yeah. On a much lower scale, my dad himself was a real estate guru. Like all his investment was real estate. Either he's buying, he's building, he's land banking. He was the proper real estate. And I learned things from that as well. My mom was like the, savings person, not that much investment, more like savings, savings, high yield savings account and things like that. So I remember that her friend, she came back, so she was going to bring her children back to Nigeria for boarding school. We're all supposed to attend the same boarding school. And then university, and she was like, she had saved a couple amounts of money, that was in dollars then, and then she was going to change it to naira. Then naira was quite strong to dollar, so you could make that kind of risk and all. And then she's going to put it in a fixed income investment, and the return from that investment was going to be enough to pay her children's school fees, so their pocket money, their rent, so that by the time they are done, the way she calculated it, like at the end of the day, she'll just go and collect back her capital, convert it back to dollars, and go back to America.
She needs to give us that investment.
I did on that debate. I was under the bed. I thought when you're doing assignment, like doing assignment, your parents will be just
listening, pay attention. We want,
When my mom was like, oh, Rita, she's gonna do it for us. And to be fair, then we're all girls. My mom had just female children. So there's also this fear of what if something happens to me and my husband, what's going to happen to my daughters, right? So which is why I think she was also like pro-investing, like she was also proactive saving and investing. So when she was like, she's going to do it for us, when the lady left, I was like, mommy, have fun now. She was like, hey, you know what? Let your dad come back. I'll talk to him. Me. That was about to enter university. I was like, okay. I was following there. I took my two left leg to the bank. They were like, oh, you're not up to 18 yet. You cannot open an account. I said, okay. I was enduring this, and my dad now, I think so that period, my dad was like putting steps for me to like go to university. So he now gave me one of his accounts, and I don't know how he did it. He just managed like change. Okay, so the branch he was using then, because he works like a refinery, so he had like a bit of power and connection. So somehow they just puts my name.
So basically, long story short, you're a nepo baby.
Well, you can say it a little bit.
Thank you for admitting your privilege.
But you know me, I've always said like when it comes to invest, I always like credit my privilege because I don't have black tax. I beg you. I never carry myself because to carry black tax.
Black tax they come after this video. After this podcast goes live. No, your family people, extended family, they are coming.
That's funny because even extended family, like they don't really
reach out. Yeah, it's because everyone
have money. Everyone is settled, right? You know. So I remember like after like, okay, how far? Let's go out. So when my dad now like did the account thingy, I went to the bank. And funny thing, when I started my investment journey, it's not as easy. And now you can see Wiz on social media.
Yes,
you see me on social media. You will slide into our DMs.
There's no information.
It's into our DMs.
Life is so much easier now. I swear.
Talking about you will go to my page. By the time you watch 2-3 videos, you see something you want to learn. It was not like that time. Even Google search will not even
you go and read on blogs. On website, that's where you get the knowledge.
Blog was websites.
I
know funny thing, right? Nigeria had little
information
about Nigerian investment.
Because also, like, investment in Nigeria is not as prominent as it is in America.
So then, whenever I was googling for investment, I was always America. I was seeing. So you're googling for Treasury Bill CBN, you're seeing DMO America, and I'm like, so I went to the bank, and I'm like, okay. I have an account, so I think my dad gave me, was it 50K? That was like my first money for investment, to go and shop, you know, like shop for university as a university girly. Carry money, go bank. I said I want to open fixed deposit. They opened that one for me. And I think, and I started inquiring about treasury, because what she spoke about then was treasury bills, right? And they were like, I think the guy was like, he didn't know what treasury bill was. And I kid you not, like this was a bank manager.
And he's working at the bank.
Even my uncle, I'm sorry, I'm not calling your name. I had an uncle, it's just that he was wealthy, his family was wealthy, but even him too, at some point,
he wasn't working at the bank.
He was a bank, I was a branch manager right from when I've known him. All my first bank accounts, now they open up for me.
But he doesn't know what treasury
bill is. Wow. It's until recently. Like not like recently, like let's say about
after like
7 years ago. But at that time, when I knew about treasury bills, my uncle did you go shocking my passive with all his money, did not know about treasury bills.
Yeah, information was not accessible.
It was not accessible, yes. Which is why I thought the rich gets richer. Because as a rich man, you have access. Like, they will be chasing you because they need your money to do business. And they know you can afford to give them that money, right? So that was how I started. So I started, adding small money. That time when I started investing in Nigeria, that time Nigeria currency was okay. Rates were good. I think I was getting rates in like 20-something% and all. My money was growing small. I felt that's when I became lazy. I just realized I felt that's when I figured out that I did not need to work hard
too much to make money. Yeah.
And ever since that day,
it shifted your brain chemistry.
Babe, like I'm not joking. Like it shifted, my brain chemistry altered. So what the only thing I know it did for me as a person was it made me hustle to make money, not because if I make that money and put it somewhere, it's going to grow. Not because I'm making money to come and be living from hand to mouth.
Yeah. I think one thing that shifted my own brain chemistry was, I think, my first trip. When that was the first time I experienced true freedom of using your money to do what you actually want. Because I wanted to go on that trip. You know what's funny? I didn't even tell my parents I was traveling. I was traveling when I even do on my Canada package, I did not tell my parents. I told them like weeks before I was moving. Like, and I'm not going to visit Canada. I'm literally migrating there. So like, I didn't tell them until like weeks before. Of course, it's because I had like money to be able to do things myself. So before the trip, before I migrated, for my whole travel and everything, I just bought like ticket. I enrolled for this group trip to go to Dubai for like a week. Then I came back to Nigeria. After 1 week, I packed my bag and go to Canada. Like, I did all of that in the space of like 2-3 weeks. Yeah, that was when that particular period shifted my brain chemistry. I was like, what? Like, all you need in this life for you to enjoy a good life and freedom is money.
It's money.
That thing
knowing how to multiply your money as well. That's a skill that nobody
can never take from you.
I told someone, like, I am so confident in myself. Like, even if I start afresh today,
you know what?
I know what to do to multiply my money.
That is actually a very brilliant thing. This thing is just sinking in my head because
that's why I quit my job now. I beg to apply. I see what it is.
Thank you.
When I have skill.
That is one thing that I've realized. I see that, and this is a common pattern. I don't know if you guys are listening are hearing, and this is just us also having this conversation. I noticed that a lot of finance content creators, they get into that full-time content creation era faster than most other people in beauty, in fashion, in lifestyle, and other niches. So for the longest time, I never understood it.
Why?
But now I'm understanding it because they already know how to multiply their money as a result of what their skills and experience. So they know that follower count does not matter. All of these things, like even even if you quit your job and you are not making money from content creation, you know that you can always go back because you know that your skill is there.
Yes.
This is something I never actually did, and it makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense because you know you can bet on your. I'm sure even you when you were quitting your job, maybe you did not figure it out, but deep down you're like, your subconscious knew that you yourself, you're your own security.
Bam.
Money is just one form of security.
Bam.
As a person of value, you have to also be your own security.
Yes, that is so tea. Preach. No, I'm actually dipping in right now because it makes so much sense. Well, because sometimes people ask me like, so how did you know when? How did you know that it's the right time to quit? What gave you the confidence and everything? And to be honest, I saved a lot before I quit my job. However, I also just knew that like I have the skill set. It can never be that bad. Like even if I start from ground zero today, I will still make money. I'm confident in myself and my skill set enough to be able to build myself from the ground back up. And that is what I feel like more people need to get into, like actually gaining that skill, improving the quality of the value that they have to offer.
Yeah.
That way you'll be able to attract money. And there's this quote that I read somewhere, like, your attraction of money is a proof of how valuable you are. If you have ever thought, I want to make more money, but I don't know where to start, then listen up. I've created different online programs where I teach you how to earn more, save smarter, and grow your income without the flaw. From learning the right side hustles to content creation, or maybe you want to learn investing or join my exclusive community, Smart Money Group. I've built out practical programs that meet you where you are. You'll find options like Creator Income Accelerator, Investing Simplified, Smart Money Group, and the e-learning course for folks who wants to do it at their own pace. Everything is designed to help you multiply your skills and your income. If you are serious about taking control of your finances, head over to smartmoneymastery.co and choose your path today. Let's get back into the episode.
True, and I'm gonna get to that because after I started, when I now started investing treasury bills, I'm like, oh my goodness, which I thought when people say things like, oh, I cannot put my money for 1 year, 5% is too small. I'm like, 5% is not your problem, it's your capital. Go and work on increasing your capital.
Yeah.
When I was seeing the 500, 1K from my small 50K, I knew that I needed more money
to be able to get.
You know what I did the first time? I think like that fourth of it, I'm telling this story. I went to my dad's
not just
tenants.
telling me, you're telling all of us.
I went to my dad's tenants. I was like, my father said come and collect rent. And again, I was up like, for me, I'm not the smartest. That's why I attribute my success to like the Holy Spirit, because some of the things I did as a child, I've always been smart as a child, but some of the bold things I did, it
was just audacity.
I did not even. Do you get my point? Because finance is something that nobody taught me. I figured everything out. Yeah. It was in my later years I started taking like courses and all, but I figured everything out by myself.
Yeah.
I said my pastor can come collect rent. And why I say Holy Spirit is because why you go they give 16-year-old girl rent in thousands of naira?
It's confidence that you have now that made them trust that what you.
After they gave me the rent, I went to the bank, I said the money, and I ran away from the house. If I catch you, I will kill you.
Where did you go to?
I was in board the hostel. My father come to the hostel. So apparently, another thing I did when so my dad thought I was living in the hostel. I was collecting money I was actually living off campus. I was collecting money for him for a hostel. So when he started looking for me, he would go to the hostels. You cannot find me because I'm staying off campus. So oh my goodness, I didn't go. So after they listened to me for like 1 month, that's why they begging me because I used to go home every weekend. Like after that,
what school did you go?
I went to like Michael Private Agriculture. So it was close. It was just behind my village. So because of that, my dad used to go home every weekend because of me. So when he enters home, I drive straight to my school. He picks me up. We'll go and do weekend. As he's leaving, he dropped. So he had listened for. I said, come back. We are forgiving you. So later he found out what I used to money to, but that bulk money, that was what I now used to start treasury bills. Right? I remember like my first payout for treasury because they pay you interest upfront was about, well, let's say 200K or 300K. Wow. And I'm like, okay. And
you were how old at this time?
And I think I was 16, I was 17, 17. The first time treasury bills paid me 10 million, and that's the money I used to go to Dubai. Hey, I was like, oh my goodness, so before, of course, I started exploring like other streams of income and, other streams like investment. And of course, the thing about it is, like I said, like, if you see how your money, something I always say, 2 things, money loves speed, number 1.
Action.
Number 2, your money will work harder and faster than you ever can.
Period. Yes. Your money
will work harder and faster. You're just going to work for money every day. Yeah. Your money will work harder and just to put it in the right place. Thank you. Yeah. All it takes is one consumer sentiment shift, or one politics, or one law, or one something to happen, and your money will just quadruple and skyrocket.
Yeah. So now that you have money now, because I know you've been rich, madam.
I still a good year.
You're going to still find money anyways. But do you feel like where you are at with your finances, do you feel like you had more pressure to the kind of things you look out for in a partner? I mean romantic partner. Or do you feel like you understand that, okay, in a relationship, you guys can do 50-50, you can provide, and you guys will meet somewhere in the middle. Like, because I feel like, from my own experience, from where I am with my finances and my investing and all, I find that a lot of men tend to get intimidated when they see a woman that has money. And I'm just curious to know what it's like for you.
Okay, so the thing is, right, for me, when it comes to relationships, nothing concerns me because there's no middle ground from you.
You have to have money.
Nothing like 50, because again, I'm saying it not from a selfish place, but I'm a traditional woman.
Period.
You know, I mean, even the Bible has said that a man that cannot provide for his family is worse than an infidel. I mean, if you say,
I don't know that you quote the Bible.
No, but the thing, right, is, right, men are so. Women are nurturers. We multiply. So like I said, I can multiply your money.
Period.
Whatever you bring to me as your partner, your wife, I'm going to give it back to you multiple folds, right? Yeah. That is my value. So I'm not saying like you have to be the richest person, but you must be my provider. You're either providing for me. No, but it's true now. You must be, because even as I am like this, my father still provides. Even with the money, I think, like for real, like I'll call my dad, oh, I'm telling you what, people like, keep your money. Right? That doesn't mean I'll not give you money or help out my husband, my partner, or whoever in case of when they have financial constraints. Of course I will. But the goal is you have to be a provider. And I'm saying it because providing does not mean having a lot of money. Yeah. There are people that have so much money that are not providers.
There's some men that, and again, their wife has more money than them, but they still provide.
And again, when it comes to providing, it's also sometimes that thing about men, you don't understand that it's not always about the financial aspect. Sometimes people don't even give me money. Simple thing like, go book a salon for me to go make my hair. Go book a spa appointment for me. You know, make sure my car, like my gas is like my car has enough gas. You know, make sure, like there's one thing I tell people, like until I left Nigeria, I never knew, like, you know how they used to buy credits. I used to go and Google to know how to recharge. And my dad will always recharge all our phones, right? So little things like that is what we call providing. But people tend to blow it out of proportion. And again, guess what? You give who you love, right? Because if I love you, as you're doing for me, I'm doing for you too, right? But again, you have to provide. So of course, my expectations with men have, like, you know, grown. That intimidation is there. I've gotten a couple of men I intimidated, but funny enough, I've actually been quite lucky because most of my men, and I would say they usually say I motivate them, right? So, and they tend to like do for me because, of course, me, like I said, I don't hide. I lay my cards on the table. I like, you have to provide for me.
I like soft life.
It's worse because I'm not very domesticated. Doesn't mean as in I don't know how to do domestic work. I just don't like to do it.
Yes.
And for me, I say it because, like I said, I feel like I'm very valuable in other areas. So everyone shows us how they are strengths.
So why am I wasting my time cooking?
See, I'm like I saw my friend. Like,
when I can be there looking at our investment.
I'm like, do you know, you go to the market, you will come back before you parboil and do it. That's like 6 productive hours. I mean 5 hours. I'm like, especially if you're cooking multiple food. Do you know what I've done with that time? Now, I'm not saying I will not make it. I cannot do that every day. I
don't know. Does anybody cook every day in this? In Nigeria or here abroad?
The time when I was growing up, my father used to eat fresh food. Like my mom used to make, like she has to be something big, but she must always enter the kitchen to make something, like whip up. Let me see the word.
But I don't think it happens in 2025 anymore.
My mama don't die. Who won't do it for her? Who did it for him? He's not surviving. That's showing that, again, men know what they are doing. But it's true now. After my mom died, I'm not living with him. My dad is not living with him.
He's cooking. He's taking care of his life.
See, when we were growing up, my father, Indomie, he detests. You cannot cook Indomie in my house. As what now? Spaghetti. But now, he used to cook it and eat. The one I did there, I never see anything. But the thing is, right, my mom was doing it because she wanted to. And also she was happy.
And also, you know, traditional women from then is different from now.
See, don't forget about it.
My mom too used to cook every day.
See, my mom was a nurse, like she's a nurse. She was a nurse and a midwife, right? but because she was very busy, my dad was like, you know what, quit your job. I will take care of. Like, I can never forget. My mom always said like everything my father said he would do for her. He did it. From building her the upstairs. He said, that when they got married, he didn't have money. And I was like, no, but like people, my father gonna like blow and make a lot of money. Wow. He didn't have money. He said, but everything he said he was gonna do, he said, I'll open pharmacy for you. He opened not one, not two, like even in the village, even in Port Harcourt, like she had like farm. I don't get my point. Yeah. So. And again, these are things that make a woman submissive, right? Yeah. So whatever she was doing, she willingly and even as she was like, when I would be in the store, she'd be like, I have to go and make food for your father. And they'll come and stay here, But guess what? Even as she was making her own money, even with the pharmacy, she was still spending my dad's money. Like, how mom can carry her
to spend your man's money now. That's why I don't understand men that if a guy is not giving you money,
he doesn't love you. He doesn't love you. He doesn't like you. Okay? He doesn't like you.
Because like if a girl is not spending your money,
she doesn't like you. Thank you. I was telling the guy this thing, like, I only ask men I love for money.
Yes.
Especially because I can make my own money. So if I ask you for money, it means I like you. If I don't like you, I won't ask you for money.
It's going to be like, I beg.
I don't want you to I don't want to have to feel and
let me not feel like I'm owing you.
So I will not ask you, but I don't think I told one guy was like, that me, I'm still lying because you're Dangote. Because you don't have the kind of gold I want to dig. Because I'm a gold digger, right? You don't have the kind of, you're not Jeff Bezos, so why would I want to lie to you? I'm telling you, like, what is my reality. So again, our moms did those things. It was because, again, like you're talking about, like my mom, like I said, she had a farm. She had people working for her. Some days she would say she's not going to the shop for 2. By first call, you're not going to the shop, and she's not feeling fine. 3 days she has not gone anywhere. She's still okay. She's comfortable and all. So she had that backing.
Yeah.
Which was why growing up, my dad always tell you something like, if for example, if you go out, he will beat you, be like, what are you looking for outside? Because everything you need is inside the house. TV, lights, generator, fuel, food, any single thing you want is inside. So what are you looking for outside? And so, again, don't get me, I'm not saying women should not support their men.
Of course.
But when you see that 50-50, thank God I'm a Kuma and Igbo girl. Igbo men don't believe in 50-50.
But that's only if you marry an Igbo man now. Won't you marry? You could marry a white man.
Well,
could you marry a white man?
Well, actually, I'm considering it. Well, even though like, I'm talking about what I want. Even though my current boyfriend is like, he's not Igbo, but even he has that mindset. So the thing about which I talk again, I've experienced white men when I moved to the UK, right? But the people that moved to me were white men, right? The first white guy, that one, he was like, you just came into the country. Marry me, I'll change your papers. Or, okay, don't marry me, I'll employ you. I was one that refused, right? Because again, I don't want to be
indebted to him.
When I moved to the UK in 2023, that's when they did election for Tinubu, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo that banks are not going to work. And then I had to open a bank account in the UK. I had just my Nigerian card. I was joined for the 80, so it was not working. It was that white guy that the first $1,000, £1,000, somebody dashed me. It was the guy.
Wow.
And that time again, when I was doing all these part-time jobs, they sent me for, apparently everybody that they wanted to go for that job in the UK knew there was train strike. They refused to go. I was the one, I was new now. I was trying to please them. I didn't know anything about strikes. So I was on the sent. I went. He was still the white guy that drove 3 hours plus to come and pick me up. So again, I feel like it has nothing to do with race or anything. I've seen white men actually provide. I have a friend, an elderly friend. She lives in Europe, right? When she divorced her husband, she was totally lost because the guy did every single thing down to booking their flight ticket. A white guy, yes, a white guy. Down to booking their flight ticket. He did every single thing. The only thing she did was just to cook food and take care of their daughter.
Wow.
Yeah. Every other thing he did.
So that means it's possible that there's men out there that is even of other races and background.
No, now come on, there are men. Yes.
So it just depends on. And I also feel
like that bust your head. These white men, they really provide for you. Know why? Because they are coming from a culture where their women do 50-50.
Yes.
As someone that has worked in Nigeria with expats, I've seen these men combine Nigerian girls and they refuse to go back because you're marrying a woman that is cooking for you.
She's
cleaning for you. Taking care of the house. Making you food.
Feel like the Lord.
And all you have to do is just provide for her. They will really do it. And inside that provision, she will show you appreciation. Yeah. She will thank you. She will adore you. She will worship you.
I feel like Nigerian men don't appreciate Nigerian women.
They don't appreciate us.
They rate us.
That is a privilege.
Yes, I say honestly, that's actually a privilege. But you also feel like your dad giving you this kind of upbringing and providing and everything and showing that like example for you. Do you feel like it sets the standard of what to expect from men, or do you feel like it's just because of where you are at with your own finances?
No, it did actually. 'Cause I always tell people, like, even as I did like this, I always say, if you know me, if you're my friend, I always say things like, when my father's house is not chasing me. Like, for example, if UK stress me, I'll be like, bad as the bad, I can go my house. You know, that kind of a thing. So he set like the standard and all. And it's funny because my dad, I feel like the first time my father understood that I had money, he did not. I feel like he was like, I feel like because how we started was when, like, in my father's house, like, one room was no longer enough for me because I had so many clothes. So I was gradually entering into the second room. Then before I was about entering into the third room, he said, "Come here, say come here." Where are you getting money to buy all these things from? You know. And that was when he now understood. I remember one time, like, we're walking on the road, like, we'll be driving, he'll be like, I've heard you mention this sukuk bond before. Look at this road, says, explain to me. I'm like, yeah, when you give your government your money to invest, and these are the kind of things that you infrastructure your money to, like, invest, and they pay you interest from doing so. And you're like, okay. And again, these are learned people. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I have an uncle that is like top management in Shell. Even he didn't know what sukuk bond was.
I feel like the thing is, in Nigeria, our definition of investing for especially our parents was real estate. Exactly, it was real estate, and then maybe for some of them, they bought those Nigerian shares that back then before, was it Tinubu or Basejo era, then they ruined the whole thing. So that after that experience, a lot of them just abandoned the idea of investing in stocks or anything.
But now, speaking of real estate, my dad was an avid real estate investor. Aside like the rental properties, real estate is not liquid. So I always tell people, like, real estate is a high to medium.
It's a very high risk. It's not even just medium. So especially if you're doing rental property, maybe medium.
Maybe medium.
But if you're doing like
it's high
property, is high risk.
It's high. So I say low to high to medium because basically it's something that you can see, feel, and touch. That what qualifies as a low risk investment, right? But I know growing up them, like, my dad would need quick money, and because he had so many properties, he'd be like, I want to sell this. And guess what? I won't say rarely, but 30% of the time he made profits. The remaining 70%, he was either selling at the exact amount he bought it or at the
because
loss.
He needed that money.
Yeah, because now, of course, everybody wants to get a good bargain and a good just for something as important as real estate. So you want to understand how desperate is this person? You know, how can I bargain to get like a better deal for myself? Especially in Nigeria, where you go and it's easy for people to go and ask somebody that knows somebody that knows you, right? To come and say, that guy they sell this land though. We see like how desperate is he? Then they now come and tell the person they want the quotas, so that kind of a thing. So it's easier. So I saw that like real time. So which is why I tell people, like, assets is assets. Income generating assets is totally different.
Yeah.
You might if you invest the wrong way and you're buying assets, a time will come when you'll be broke, and because of that, you make desperate decisions that will make you to lose all the other assets that you've accumulated.
Yeah, that is so true. And the thing is that cash is king. Cash is king. So you still would always need that liquidity. You see, liquidity. Let's explain what liquidity is. We can't just say liquidity like that.
Okay, so
assets. I forgot that we are not in there.
Okay, so assets basically is anything that you own that can generate income for you or that will grow your money. So think of things like your investment portfolio. For example, if you invest in stocks, crypto, let's say you have real estate, you have properties or lands, you have money in savings accounts, let's say you have gold jewelries, all this can be called assets.
Okay. What is liquidity?
Liquidity is when, like, you have cash. So if, for example, I told you, okay, come and pay me 10,000 naira today for, let's say, this bracelet, you're able to actually bring out the 10K. It's not you can actually bring out the 10K and give me for the bracelet. You won't be telling me, let me go and sell something. Or let me go and borrow money. You know, that doesn't make you liquid. So liquid is when you actually have cash. You know,
cash to use for opportunities.
Oh, thank you. That's the word. So, you know, now speaking of, I thought put this thing like in my investment group, I'm like, emergency fund is not just for when somebody swallows
when something bad happen.
When you have a good investment opportunity,
or even
use your emergency fund. I don't know why.
I feel like No, so it's two things. There are people that they save for emergency purposes and they know how to use it. And there are also people that don't even have emergency funds. So now it's like two extremes. Like you're begging people to use their emergency funds. There is also people that don't have it.
I also think that there are people that maybe they just feel like they always have emergency. Because me, I don't think I've ever used an emergency fund for emergencies. I'm always either, in fact, to bust your head, I don't have savings. I don't have emergency funds anymore. I just have money that is there waiting to grab. Thank you. And that money usually, recently, what I do is I put them in ETFs. ETF that will pay me money, so it's growing, it's paying me dividends. The day I want it, I'll collect my money and go and do what I want to do with it.
Take it out. So please, now that you are here, please give the listeners 3 ETFs that will help them liquid ETFs that they can start converting to cash. Whenever they need the money, they can easily sell. And I know you are in the UK because some of these things they don't exist in Canada. So maybe I'll say the ones for Canadians or Americans, and you can say the ones for UK. I love that.
Yeah. So for UK, one of my favorite ETF of all time is VHYL. It's a Vanguard high yield dividend paying stock, and I invest in global stocks that like a high yield that actually give investors high yield dividends. It pays dividends quarterly, and it's done some good amounts in capital gains. So capital gains is when your initial capital investment amount increases in value over time. So it's also done quite some good capital gains, and it pays high dividends every month. And so that's like a good ETF to hold. The second one is VUSA. So this mirrors like an index fund that tracks the S&P 500. So it's the S&P 500, but the UK version of the S&P 500.
Does it pay dividend?
Yeah, it pays dividends as well, quarterly as well. It pays dividends, and it also, grows as well, because the S&P 500 they're always reshuffling and adding new companies. And then the third one, for those that want broader diversification, is VWRL. It's an all-world index. So it invests in emerging markets, think Asia, Africa, Europe, America, Canada. So it's an all-world index. And so because of that, it's also projecting to grow more. Maybe not now, but the 10 years growth forecast is higher than the remaining 2 because, again, we are factoring in unexpected growth, especially from emerging economies and emerging countries like Africa, India, all those Asia, all those countries that are still growing, that still have like lots of room for growth. So those are my top 3 favorite ETFs.
Long story short, y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow on social media. If you're in the UK, she talks a lot about investing in the UK. I talk about investing in Canada, North America. I still have people in my community that are from the UK, but because the stocks are going to be different, or the ticker number, it might be tracking the same thing.
Yeah, but you see this example, like you want to make sure your investments does not correlate because you buy the same thing with different names.
Yes, like that's also another thing. I remember one time I was reviewing portfolio for someone, and they had like 4 or 5 S&P 500.
Yeah, I know someone recently.
It's the same thing.
And actually, his own was not S&P 500. It was like different stocks, different ETFs, but the weighting was the same. So the two ETFs had Nvidia at 16%.
So like you could have, it's the same.
Then like literally the same weightage, and I'm like, their stocks are quite different, but the 10 major stocks they had that made up at least 50% were exactly the same thing. So when that one is going down, the other one is going down.
They're performing the same. And they'll think that they have a diversified portfolio.
And they don't.
It's not diversified because they're carrying the same thing.
And
anyway, I'll quickly give you, I know you guys probably watch my YouTube channel, so I'll not go into details about the stocks and ETFs. I'll just say 3 top high interest or high yield ETFs that you can invest in if you live in Canada or in the US. One for Canadians is HHIS. It's the Harvest High Interest stocks. It tracks like the top 10 stocks across the US stock market, and they pay high dividend. I think the yield is up to like 15%, and they pay monthly, which I actually love. So if you are monthly. So if you are someone that you're looking for consistent dividend, that is one for you to check out. Another one is MTSE, is also owned by Harvest, and it also tracks like high yield dividend. That one is super high, but it's also high risk because I would say just go for HHIS because it's more balanced in terms of yield and the growth. But however, MTSE, that one is more of like more returns than growth. Exactly. Yeah. There is another. I don't want us to go into too much of tech, like stocks, like in this episode, because like there's a lot to explain when it comes to investing.
I think the more you talk about it, the more you get more things to say.
So let's not even just get into it.
When I do coaching, I don't even bother using slides anymore because otherwise I feel like I forget
all the things.
Yeah, I'd rather just talk about organic. I always tell people, That's that about people. Ask questions, and they don't. And I'm like, because if
but you know, it's not easy for you to ask questions on what you don't know now.
No, but as you're talking, like if you go with the pen and paper, that's because I thought like you take everything so serious apart from your financial health and your future. Because you're coming to an investment class and you're not coming with pen and paper.
No, let me tell you. Let me play defense here in my own, because I talk to people not just in investing perspective. I also try to talk to them in their life.
Yeah, I do their life. So I said that's what we do. I don't think I've known any financial coach or educator that does not play the role of therapist and
you have to play the two.
You have to play the two now. Because mindset matters.
One thing I notice is a lot of these people, the reason why they don't take that investing class seriously, or they don't bring note and pen and paper, is because they're really not ready to confront their situation when it comes to their money. When it comes to like budgeting, sometimes I'm like, do you even take a look at your credit card statement? And I hear no, and I'm like, like you should do that. Like every single month, you should take some time to look at how much you made, how much you spent, and what you have invested in. What exactly is your financial plan? You should take at least 1 hour. So then, after digging and asking questions, I now end up finding out that the reason that people are not doing all of these things, because in a way it feels like you should know this. If you're coming to a class, you should come with your notes and your pen and paper. But most people are not just ready to confront their financial situation.
Because I don't know, I thought like because I think I just one class I had where everybody, and that was like the best class, because as they're asking you, you're remembering things that you
have not said.
Something that you have not said that will be important to all, but they don't get it. Like you ask, like every time they ask me a question, I'm like, that was because literally I skipped it, not intentionally.
Or not that I don't even know it. I just did not.
I just don't remember talk about it. You know. So and that's the thing. I feel like again, I thought like investing is intentional, which is why when people come and they're like, oh, this, I'm like, the way you dress up in the morning, you go to work. You go and take another person's business seriously. That is how you should take your investments seriously.
Your finance in general.
Because what do you mean you're an investor and you are waiting for somebody to come and tell you what to do? You're not listening to the news.
You're not reading newsletters.
I know the one that pisses me off the most, that in an era where we have ChatGPT, people still don't utilize it.
Yeah.
You cannot prompt it. Because again, you have to prompt it well and have the idea. Because I think you can give rubbish. Guys, you tell you
you tell you what you want to
tell you what you want to get. Hey, it validates your feelings, right? Like your sister, that you'll be like, come do that today to me. You'll be like, yes. You know,
you agree with you, ChatGPT. But some people use ChatGPT as their therapist, and sometimes I wonder if he's giving them the right advice, because ChatGPT will validate your feelings. You agree with you. But you know what I did? I saw one prompt on Twitter that someone said, add to your, the memory. Tell it that you should always be your intellectual sparring partner, and it's going to like always think out of the box and not agree with you. Like you should actually juggle what. So when you add that prompt in there, sometimes when I ask like, what do you think? Niti will now reply me that as your intellectual, that's okay. Now you're giving me. But sometimes if I not say what do you think, if I just tell you something, you say yes. I agree with you. You're right to think that way.
I agree with you.
Does any one of you listening to this episode right now, do you use ChatGPT as your therapist? Be honest, come clean. Come clean, be honest. Okay, we're going to get into the cruise control segment of this pod. I came across a post on Reddit and we're going to get into it. Okay. A girl shared that she makes about $55,000 a year, while her boyfriend makes $120,000 a year. They just decided to move in together, and now the argument is about bills. He wants everything split 50-50, but she feels it should be proportional to their income, since her paycheck won't stretch the same way as his does. She's worried it will put her in constant struggle while he has plenty left to save and invest. What do you think is the best way for this couple to manage their money with this income gap?
If you're asking me, I'm guessing it's a Igbo couple, because as a black person,
it's not just for Igbo couple. There are black people that do 50-50 too. Really? You know, see this lady, Dwayne Wade. What's his name? This guy that plays Dwayne Wade and Gabriel Union. Yeah. And she talked about
because I've read her book, so she has psychological issues and trauma.
Money trauma,
that makes her not want to be solely independent on someone. So that's a totally different ball game.
But that's a lot for most black women, though. Really? A lot of black women are that way.
I think I know trauma. Anyway. So I think that if we're being fair, so normally my normal answer would, my answer would just be like, why can't you just pay for everything? But now if we're being fair on the both of them, I don't think 50-50 is ideal, because again, he has like more earning power, more spending power.
Yeah.
I think they should just come to an agreement and see, who is paying for what, right?
Yeah.
And she could probably take the lower hanging fruit because, again, I don't know if this is pre-tax or after-tax, their income, but she could take the lower hanging fruit. And actually, they are planning for a life together. I think they actually take that conversation very seriously because, they can start like planning and working out and seeing who needs to increase or upskill themselves to like make more money. Yeah. But 50-50, that is not.
I think it's unfair. I think he doesn't like her. As the lady, she's going to already be doing a lot.
Yeah, I think he doesn't like her because there's so many things to factor when it comes to like, splitting between women. For example, it costs more for grooming for us as women than to cost a man.
Yes.
To get our hair.
She's still going to even do more in the household anyway.
Thank you. To get our hair done, get our nails done, everything. Like, men don't pay for tampons. You guys know how expensive it is to buy tampon now?
Every month.
Oh my goodness. Like,
and I'm saying every month. Almost every 3 weeks because it's not even to a month.
I'll say like, I'm like, me, we use tampon, we use normal pad. I use tampon, I use normal pad. Then I use wipes and now they use tissue. So there's so many. So apart from that, like, to be fair, I just feel like it's not fair on her.
Yeah.
Especially because it's earning more. And if he lost, I should be able to support her like the best way possible.
Yeah.
Unless
if he's really, really thinking about building a future together, I feel like I still strongly believe that if you're married or you're a couple with someone, our money is the same. Like it's our money. Yeah. So if you're thinking about it, like you still want your wife to stress about the bills to contribute as much as you, just because that, like, given the earning power, I just think that it's unfair. If is really feeling that way, that means it doesn't really have long-term plans.
Right, it doesn't, because you want to be able to leave legacies for your children.
Yeah, it doesn't have long-term plans. If you have long-term plans, you know that that this is still our money. Like, so that money that I'm keeping to myself is still going to be our money.
But long-term plans aside, he's just not a nice person, if you ask me. Because even to my friends that I don't have romantic feelings for, common sense will tell me that. You get my point? Like, when I said to quit my job, even though my friend, my flatmate knew I had money, but because I think at the same time, like, so she had earning power dropped. She was like, you know that if my earning power had not dropped, you will not have to pay rent. That's I don't get what I'm trying to say, because you'll be able to afford it, And, little things like, I'm going out to get breakfast. Even though she know that my income is variable, not as steady as usual. So and that's something I do for my friends as well. Like, same, which is why I'm not joking, It's like one time a guy invited me and the guy was like, oh, you have to come, like, I'm on my own, you're inviting me out, telling me to pay for my transportation fare, which I'm grudgingly coming to see you. And we got into a third argument, but I'm like, even my girlfriends, I did book Uber for them.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, because again, being a nice person, being kind and having love, the talk of someone you claim to be in a relationship with, which I'm
also you want to have a partner, like you want to have a long-term
plan.
Because sometimes you can be dating for just like let's just pass time. So if you have plans for long-term,
which is why I asked where they are from. Apparently, I've heard that in countries like America, people date because they want to save on bills, like they want to move in together.
Yes, economic relationship.
So you literally hate the person you're living with, you're dating, but you cannot leave the person because people have to deposit. So again, that's why I say like, why what risks are they? Because if I feel like a traditional African man, unless again the woman volunteers, will not like subject his woman to that kind of life. Kind of life.
It will be more concerned.
That's definitely a question to even start with. Because I keep asking, how do you want me to be submissive? No, because
no, but even with this body that you have, I need to get a submissive woman.
I have submissive. Me, I don't feel like that you see me. My friend, I tell you, like, it's fake life and live on social media. So I thought for a game, which is why I say like proximity and like using your money yourself. You see me, I'm the most grateful person. And apart from the fact that I travel, people that know me online, when I moved to UK, I used to do like my support job and all. People be looking at you. I can just do my day because normally I don't talk. Like, it's only I get to know me. Maybe you see me on social media. I don't talk. I'm very. So one day someone was like, I know you. I've seen you somewhere. And then I said like, I had to block most of them because then where I was working there, and because I'm well put together. So like normally, this is my hair. You know, makeup. Like I just never can. Do you get my point? So I just have things that are valuable to me. So I'm submissive. Money doesn't get into my, because again, like how much I've not even gotten to where I want.
Where you want to be. Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah. So I'm very grateful and I'm very supportive. The thing about the only difference to my submissiveness, like you have to earn it. So because that thing they say about women that make their money and hustling, having masculine energy is quite true.
Yeah.
Just like that, we have the yin and yang energy. So it takes a man.
That is an
intentional man, a man that is a man. And when I say a man that is a man, I'm not talking about money.
Yeah.
But a man that's a man to bring out your soft,
your feminine.
One of my uncles said this thing to me. can also soften it. So he said when he married his wife, like after he'll be fighting, he'll be screaming, do this, do this, do this, and then she will not do it, and then he stopped talking, just started showing her. And I remember when he was saying that, a lot of his friends said that the same thing, that he used to be a chronic smoker and drinker. He stopped because his wife was tired of nagging. Do you know what she did? She started smoking and drinking. So like he'll be smoking and she'll come and be beside her and be like, babe, so one brand is your cigarette. You know? And then he was like, so when this one starts, and she was like,
he said they smoke back.
And that was all it took for him to stop smoking, because then they had kids already. You get my point? So again, I feel like relationship and money, like, it's not rocket science, but one thing I know is that if you love somebody, you want to provide for the person, and vice versa. And if you guys have a common goal, because there's one thing that brings people together, especially couples, are your kids. So I also feel like another thing that drowning relationship is this too much podcasts. I mean, our podcast is for a good cause. So this one is for a good cause. It's not just man and woman. Like, I watched one today too, was same topic, money. That was just with arguing. And one lady had to say, like, she's so sorry, but she thinks that now, the way the world is going, black men and black women are no longer compatible. Why is it only our demographic?
I think so.
Why is it only us? Which is like that. I've seen white men that provide that. Like, white men will willingly provide for you if you can give them peace.
Yes.
Love.
Good loving.
You know? So I feel like, so that's the thing. You guys just decide like who you want to reevaluate your relationships. You know, be open to like dating multiple people, like other races.
Especially
and
black people.
Invest your money, because that is one way for you to build wealth seamlessly, easily, no stress.
And invest in yourself. Go check out Jennifer on our social media. Leave a comment below. Let us know which part of this video stood out to you. What stuck with you? What did you take away from this episode as well? Thank you so much for cruising with us in this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you for cruising with us on this episode of Sabi Cruise. If something we discussed today hits home, don't keep it to yourself. Comment below what resonated with you and share this podcast with your people. Hit the follow button, leave a quick review so that others can find us. Until next time, keep thriving, keep learning. You sabi or you know sabi. You already know we sabi better.